Hey, Jim, this is Paul Cundiff. Just doing a Sunday afternoon, catching up on paperwork and so forth, and I want to catch up with you on your boat. So, the so right now the exhaust and intake manifold are off. They go right here. You can see the gasket. Of course, we got a new gasket ordered. This one's shot. On the last test, one of the freeze plugs popped out of here. So we had to stop the test because we couldn't get cooling water through the engine. It was all coming out there. So I just want to give you an update, though, because it was back in like April that we probably communicated last. And I apologize for it being so long, but it seems like, well, as you may recall, I said this seems like this thing is one step forward and two steps back. So, and that has been the case. So back in, I guess it was back in March, we had to buy a new starter. A couple of starters broke, as you recall, and it turned out what was happening was the gear teeth for the, like here's your ring gear, and then you have with teeth on it, and then you have your gear for the starter that's supposed to mesh with these teeth, like so. Well, what was happening is the ring gear on the starter had worn down to where these teeth on the ring gear on the flywheel had worn down to where the teeth on the starter were hitting this almost flat spot in the ring gear. And interestingly, because your motor's 6-cylinder and the pistons work in pairs, there are three areas at 120 degrees that where the engine may stop. And so there are three high wear areas 120 degrees apart on the ring gear. Now, so we thought about just taking the ring gear and rotating at 60 degrees so that all this good area would be where it would likely stop, but there's no guarantee it would stop there. So what we did, the ring gear was off, so we flipped the ring gear over. We tried to get a new ring gear. Matter of fact, one was shipped in from Van Ness Engineering, but it did not fit the flywheel. So at that point, we had to reuse the old ring gear, and what we did was turned it over so that all of the meshing would happen on new teeth, not new teeth, but a new side of the teeth. So that's what we did there. And the last starter that we bought was like $650, $701 was shipping. And then we, like I say, we took we expanded the ring gear, took it off, and then made a jig so that it would sit down in exactly the right place, heated the ring gear up, cooled off the flywheel, and then set it in place in our jig so that it would shrink and fit to the flywheel in exactly the right spot. So we did that. Next, we were having trouble here in the shop getting our getting water to come through the engine. It just, the pump seemed to be working fine, but and we could bleed all the air out of it, and then it would work fine for a while, but the next time we started it wouldn't, there was like an airlock. So we were advised by Van Ness Engineering to install a Y down here at where the water comes in. So our water that we're recirculating, which goes down this hose right here, the water that's being recirculated goes right down next to the water inlet, and that would solve our problem. And that doesn't seem like that would work, but magically it did. So we have the next invoice that you're going to see was for the purchase of that Y, which was $140, and the installation of that Y. And then we also put together the steering column so that we could lake test this thing. So those are the charges on the next invoice that you'll see. The guys took the boat to the lake, and the biggest problem was that the engine was running at 180 degrees, and this thermostat that we purchased through Van Ness is a 140 degree thermostat. So, and this is the bypass hose. So while the engine's heating, the water's going right back around towards the intake, and so it overcomes the water that would be otherwise be coming in through the bottom of the lake, or from the bottom of the boat, from the lake. And so anyway, it turns out that we needed to put a restrictor in this line. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So for the test, though, we were getting 180 degrees on a 140 degree thermostat that we had installed. But now our water circulation problem was solved. We get water to come out of the lake and fill the engine and come out of the engine, but it was just too hot. So we brought that in, brought the boat right back in from that test. And then the next invoice you'll see, we installed this restrictor valve up here in the bypass hose, and it's a control valve. It can be adjusted. We ran the motor, and it cooled very nicely here in the shop, and then we took it back to the lake, and that worked. But the boat shook a lot, and the transmission slipped at 1,000 RPM. So we thought, well, perhaps because we had a brand new prop, so we thought perhaps we didn't have the prop lapped in properly. Turned out that the prop was lapped in properly. We find that out later. So we went back in and realigned the engine. And we also determined that we needed to, I think I've got another test in here that we didn't even bill for. And we decided that we needed to tighten the transmission some more. And so we tightened it two more adjustment holes. And got that ready for test. And then we took it back to the lake, and we still had a terrible vibration. So we checked our alignment again, and what we found was that the coupling, half on the transmission was beat and banged. It was no longer flat. So if you can imagine, one side of this coupling, like from a side view, it's going to be exaggerated, but one side was beaten. So here's your hub, and here's your flange, and so we figured that's where our vibration was coming from. I think we did a video on that. I know we did the video on that. We raised the engine up, to make the oil flow into the oil pan and out of the transmission, and then we removed this rear flange from the transmission on the output shaft of the transmission, removed it, chucked it in the lathe, flattened it, made it perfectly flat, put it back together, and there was actually a burr, and that thing that kind of confused the issue. There was a burr on the shaft here, on the flange. This area that had been beat on had kind of had kind of a burr on it up here. So we still weren't sure that we solved it, but we knew that this coupling half was, which was on the transmission, part of the transmission. We knew that was a problem, and certainly introducing a problem, and that we couldn't tell how much of a problem. So we, like I say, we put that and chucked that in the lathe, then straightened that all back out, and then we then went back to the lake, and it was much better, but we still had a vibration between 500 and 1,000 RPM. And then the, after you got above 1,000 RPM, the vibration kind of went away. So we thought, well, maybe somebody dropped this brand new prop while we were installing it the first time, and maybe bent the tip of the blade or something. So we sent it off to a prop shop, and as it turns out, nobody dropped it. This brand new prop had one blade that was heavier than the other three. The prop shop fixed it very quickly for us, didn't even charge us for it because they spent such little time on it. And then we've installed that prop. So that's where we are right now. We kept thinking that we were, the next time we put it in the water, we were going to be calling you up and saying we're ready for delivery, or we're ready to do the maintenance coats. Actually, or ready to do the final coat. We did maintenance coats, and we've just got to do a final on it. After all the engine's done, we started it. We actually started on the final kind of by accident. But at any rate, so you see part of it sanded and the rest of it's not. But because we wanted to make sure that we got all this handled first. So anyhow, that's where we are. I'm going to send you the invoices. Because we'd actually spent past on the previous advance, we'd spent past the advance. And so the previous payment that you made paid all of the stuff that was open, all the invoices that were open, and left us a little bit of money in the till. And if we weren't having all these problems, it left us enough money in the till to get it to the point where we're ready to do the final coat on the maintenance coats. So anyway, I'll be sending you these. I just wanted to, I know that, I kept you informed with each problem that we had. I sent you some, kind of an explanation or a video, but I didn't have it all in one video, which I thought might be helpful to you. So that's what the purpose of this video is, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.